Biddable Connected TV is really just another opportunity for advertisers to reach audiences via publishers. It's a great opportunity for publishers to keep selling their inventory. No publisher wants to be left with inventory unsold. And so at the moment, the main two ways of transacting for CTV are definitely via the upfronts with programmatic guarantee and then PMPs. And the way that we view Biddable is it's an additional way of trading and buying connected TV programmatically and potentially with addressability as well. And so it's really just another revenue stream for publishers and just another great way for advertisers to reach audiences.
So does it happens outside of a private marketplace or within it, or a hybrid, or?
It does. So what you have at the moment with upfronts and programmatic guarantee is a lot of these agreements are made in kind of June, July, and some of those campaigns may not run until kind of March or April. The advantage with Biddable is that it's kind of real-time market dynamics, and therefore the CPMs for those impressions are probably more akin to what they should be at that time based on supply and demand.
Yeah, and I imagine it's more flexible, right? I mean, it seemed like during the pandemic, when everybody tore up their media plans, advertisers wanted more flexibility and on their commitments and that kind of thing, right? Or how does? Can you tell us about the flexibility with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it definitely does because you're able to buy, in real time. And we certainly heard from both advertisers and their agencies that, the upfront commitments, there were certain commitments during COVID that they weren't able to get out of. They, they had to keep those buys.
Right.
Even though, for example, someone like, an auto manufacturer wasn't necessarily selling that many cars at the time, they still had to run those campaigns. So definitely Biddable brings more flexibility to the buying of connected television.
Well, that's really interesting, Andy. So what can you tell us about transparency and what kinds of signals that advertisers can expect?
Yeah, so I think it's really important within our own overall ecosystem for there to be transparency. I think it's kind of interesting that, there's kind of this lack of reporting sometimes, and advertisers don't necessarily know what they're buying. So for us at OpenX, being transparent is one of those things that's almost like a key pillar for us in terms of reporting back on all campaigns, particularly connected TV. So for us at OpenX, supplying back that level of granularity, which is essentially the bid stream data, so the data that we see for every transaction, we're very open and pass that back to agencies and advertisers that want it. They can use it for optimizations, but in a lot of cases, it's really just validating that the campaign ran, where we all agreed it was going to run.
And what effect does this have on the ecosystem? Are there other ways?
So the way that we kind of approached this for connected TV was the transparency piece, the reducing any kind of fraud that there might be. So what we embarked upon in November was we launched a product called TV by OpenX. It's our connected TV product for advertisers. And it's kind of a number of different things in there just to prove out, if you like, the quality and what they're buying. So there's a couple of things. Number one, all supply is direct to apps within publishers, so it's at an app level. So an advertiser knows exactly what they're buying and it's a direct connection. They're only getting glass on wall, so a television as opposed to mobile or desktop. We believe that connected television, the name television means it should be on the largest screen in the house in terms of that's where the campaign should run. We removed any kind of user-generated content, any kind of gaming. Those things have a place for sure in the advertising ecosystem. We don't think that should be connected television. If somebody comes and buys connected TV from us, that's exactly what they're going to get. So it'll be glass on wall, full transparency, direct to all the different apps, no user-generated content, and no gaming.
And so does that mean they can manage campaigns not only in CTV, but let's say on digital or the web, or what other areas are there?
Yeah, so for us, we also have display advertising and online video, and again, there's full transparency there. But what we've done is we've taken any connected TV that was not glass on wall, and that inventory has now become part of our inventory for video, for online video.
Now, looking ahead, let's say the next 6 months to a year, what could you tell us about what the future is going to look like? Do you have any things that you expect or maybe would like to see?
Well, I think for us, we're just seeing the continued growth of streaming television. More and more, again, people keep cutting the cord and just going and watching on apps. And now we're seeing, obviously, TV producers putting content, that maybe would have been in linear before solely on apps. We saw that with the NFL, for example, with a playoff game for the first time in this season for the NFL. I think we're going to continue to see fragmentation. I think it's going to be harder, and so with somebody like OpenX, with these direct access to the supply, we're able to aggregate that together, and that just allows for advertisers to make it addressable and layer on data. I think if you're buying a single app, you may not be able to get the scale or the audience that you're looking for, or the audience at scale. But when you're doing that across multiple apps, then you've just got more chance of finding the people that you're looking to reach. And then I think the stat at the moment is something like 68% of all millennials are watching streaming services that are ad supported. And so that's great for the industry because it's just more eyeballs, obviously, if it's that younger, the millennials, et cetera, that are doing this. And the advertising industry always follows, obviously, where the consumer is going. And I don't see that that's going to change at all.